Good morning, everyone. Thank you so much for joining me. My apologies for the delay. Had some things going on, but we handled it and everything is good. Thank goodness it's Thursday. Never been so happy to see a Thursday in all of my life. Today is Thursday, May 28th, 2020, and it's a potluck day. Yay! Woo! So, again, if this is your first time watching this video as a playback or just your first time in general, let me explain what a potluck is. A potluck is simply the way that it sounds, but instead of bringing food that we know that you're probably not going to eat because it looks funny and it smells funny. My students bring in mathematical concepts that they want to go over, and I try to, summarize the concepts and give examples in about 15 minutes or less, depending upon what the concept is. Okay, so that's what a potluck is, and I have found this to be a very huge success. And I've been doing these potlucks for about 3, 4 years now. And so it just gives a variety of topics, to the students. And it just makes the class interesting and fun instead of going over one particular topic. Okay. So again, I heard a ding. So I want to acknowledge someone that has just joined our class.
Miss Philomena.
Yes, and thank you so much for joining us, Miss Philomena. So what we're going to go ahead and do is get started. Mr. McFadden wanted to go over the quadratic formula as part of his potluck. And Miss Philomena, if you wanted to go over any other concepts in math, please feel free to let me know. And once we do that, we're going to be finished. This probably will be a short session today because it's really not that many of us here. So yeah, we're gonna go ahead and get it started. Woo! All right. So I am going to pull up my toolbar here. Hey, toolbar, and get some problems. Get maybe one or two problems together for Mr. McFadden so we can go over the quadratic formula. And then if Miss Philomena has a topic that she would like for me to cover for the potluck, I'll be more than happy to do so. So I'm going to go ahead, all right, and get it started. Let me see. Let me see. Let me see. All right. So I think what I'm going to do is I am going to go ahead and do number one and number seven. Okay. So I'm going to do number one. Do, 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 do. All right. Gonna make that bigger so everybody can see it. All right. And I'm gonna lock that guy in place there. And I'm going to open up one more screen and I'm going to put number 8 there as well. Or was it number 7? Oh, it was number 7. Okay. um,
I'm also checking for distancing.
yes, Miss Philomena.
Can we include number 4?
You said number 4?
Yes, please. I got hooked up somewhere on number 4. Cannot proceed in my practice.
Okay, so we'll only be doing numbers 1 and numbers 4. Okay. All right. So let's see here. Woo. All right, let me bring that down so that way I can see it. All right. Okay, so let's start with number 1. Now remember, with number 1, this actually looks like um, factoring trinomials, which technically we're still factoring trinomials, but we're just applying the quadratic formula to this. Now, with this particular problem, because again, the first term has a coefficient of 1, you can factor out this regular trinomial without using the quadratic formula. And then you can take an extra step by setting each binomial to 0. But what I'll do is, for all intents and purposes here, for the sake of conversation and time, I am going to go ahead and just apply the quadratic formula to this particular problem. Okay. Oh, and it's already on blue. Wonderful. All right. So remember, our equation for the quadratic formula is this: negative b plus or minus, because remember, when you're dealing with quadratics, you're going to have two answers. Okay. And that's the square root of b squared minus 4ac. And all of that, y'all know I like to say all of that, is over 2a. So this is the formula that we are going to be using. Okay, go ahead, and nice little smiley face right there. All right, so first thing is first. The good news is we do not have to move anything over. We don't have to manipulate the equation because is already equal to 0. Remember, all quadratic equations are equal to 0. Okay, so that's very important for you to remember. Now, the second thing we have to do is we have to identify the letters that are in this quadratic formula. We have to identify them here. So this is my first term, second term, third term, which is represented by the letters A, B, and C. So can anybody tell me what is A?
1,
Okay, A is 1. Very good, Miss Philomena. Okay, can anybody tell me what is B?
5,
Okay, -5.
negative
Remember,
5,
yes, remember the number takes the sign. And what about C?
negative 14,
-14. Wonderful. All right. So now what I'm going to do is, wherever I see the letter A, I'm going to put the number 1. Wherever I see the letter B, I'm going to put a -5. Wherever I see the letter C, I'm going to put a -14. So when I do that, this is what it's going to look like. And I knew my square root sound was gonna have to be a little longer than that. La, 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 la. Now again, please remember that the quadratic formula is nothing more than a fraction where you have to do arithmetic. So that's one of the ways that can help you get past all of the, oh my God, it's a square root sign. Oh my God, it's a square. Oh, it's, it can help ease your mind, ease the tenseness that you may feel when you see such a formula. All right. So when I do this, if I can find my, okay, there we go. When I do this, a -5 turns into a +5 because remember, two negatives make a positive. Okay. Okay, so I still have my plus or minus. Now, the goal is for you to get rid of everything under the square root sign or the radical sign. Depends on, they all mean the same thing. So -5 squared is the same thing as saying -5 times -5. Remember, a negative times a negative gives you a positive. I have a positive 25 here. Okay, so now I have -4 multiplied by -14. That's going to give me a positive 56. And we know anything multiplied by 1 gives you that same number. So my negative sign or my minus sign here now turns into a plus sign because Two negatives make a positive. And then I do my basic multiplication. 2 times 1 is 2. Okay? So now, next step. And if you notice, you're going to notice that your fraction is getting smaller. That's exactly what you want. So keep that in mind. All right? So now I have 5 plus or minus square root of 81 because 25 plus 56 gives me 81. Now, the square root of 81, remember, has two answers. You're going to have a positive answer and a negative answer. So what we have here is x is equal to 5 plus 9 over 2. And then we have x is equal to 5 minus 9 over 2. So we have gotten rid of our square root sign, and that's exactly what you want to do. Now remember, sometimes that's not always going to be the case, but in this instance, we got rid of the square root simply because we can take the square root of 81 and it will give us a positive 9, as you see here, and a negative 9. But when we read the problem, we say 5 plus 9 over 2, and then we say 5 minus 9 over 2. So when I do this, I get 14 over 2, and that gives me 7. No biggie, no problem. Then when I do this, 5 minus 9, that gives me a negative 4. And a negative 4 over a positive 2 is going to leave me with a, I want to make sure I got enough room, negative 2. So these are my final answers. Now, again, with number 1, I could have also factored it out regularly by using the rules for factoring trinomials. If you forgot how to do that, go and watch that playback, okay? Because again, when you have something like this, it's easier for you to factor versus I think number 4 has a coefficient in front of the first term, so that would be a little difficult for you to factor, okay? So just very, very quickly, I'm going to open up a new page here. Really? Okay. My toolbar always disappears. I don't know why. Okay. Because I need it right now. All right. All right. Now, Ms. Hampton is a fervent believer in shortcuts. There's absolutely nothing wrong with taking a shortcut here. It will actually save you a lot of time. So if it were me, if I were taking the Math GED exam and I came across a problem like this and it told me solve by using any method, I am going to factor this and then solve it. So this is how I would do it, because to me it's easier. But remember, there are many different ways to get to downtown Atlanta. I don't care how you get there, just get there. Okay, so with that being said, I am going to factor my third term. That is my third term, negative 14, okay? So I'm going to write factors of negative 14. Now, of course, on the test, you really will not have the time to do all of this. So again, you have to make sure that you know your multiplication and your integers if you want to go about this route. Otherwise, go ahead and do the quadratic formula, okay? But if it were me, I would go ahead and just do this. but I'm just breaking it down right now. Matter of fact, I'm going to take it a step further and give you the answer. Show you that you can still come up with the same answer. Um, all right. So those are my answers, which is the same answers that I got when I did the quadratic formula. Now, again, this is just a quick breakdown, and then we're going to get to number 4. All right. So I'm going to write down all my factors. I got 1 times, well, negative 1 times 14. Then I got 1 times negative 14. Then I have negative 2 times 7. And then I have 2 times negative 7. Now, from those terms, I am going to find the sum of my second term, which is negative 5. Because negative 5 is my second term. Okay, so remembering those rules, okay, I know it's going to have to either be this one or this one. I can automatically just automatically knock those out. So I'm going to say negative 2 plus 7. That gives me a positive 5. That's not what I want. So now I have to go and say 2 plus negative 7, which gives me the negative 5 that I'm looking for. Okay. Now, then, of course, you factor out the first term, which is, m squared. All right. So again, if you need a refresher on how to factor trinomials like this, where the coefficient is 1, go ahead and watch that playback video. Because it's there. So I'm going to factor m squared, which when I do that, this is going to give me m times m. And excuse the handwriting. All right. So when I do that, I now have m minus 7 times m plus 2. Now I have to set both of these equal to 0, which is basically one-step equations, okay? So if it were Miss Hampton, because I get this question all the time, Miss Hampton, if you were taking the test, which method would you use? Well, again, you have to use the method that you are comfortable with. You have to use the method that works for you. Again, the quadratic formula works for this particular trinomial because we just did it here. Okay. However, because I know that I may need some extra time on, other problems or whatever the case may be, I would go with this method. But again, you do not have to do this. You have to pick a method that works for you. And because we are talking about the quadratic formula, that's the reason why I went ahead and I worked out this particular trinomial with the quadratic formula. Okay, so again, you have to do what makes you feel comfortable. But even within that process, you still have to make sure that you are strong on your foundational groundwork of math. Because again, with the quadratic formula, you have to know how to multiply integers. Because that's really what all this boils down to. Multiplying your negative numbers times your positive numbers. This is multiplying negative numbers when you're squaring. Making sure that you know how to find the square root of a number. Those types of things. So those are the foundational groundworks for math. Okay. So that was number 1. Do I have any questions? Do you have any questions over how we did number 1? Well, no news is good news to me. So we are going to go ahead and skedaddle right along to number 4. Now, number 4 I would suggest that you do use the quadratic formula because you have a number other than one that's in your first term. And again, factoring trinomials the way that we did with number one as an example, this would be very difficult. And this would take all day. And we don't have time to do stuff all day. So in this instance, I would tell you go ahead and use the quadratic formula for this particular problem. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and write it out here. All right. So now we got to figure out what numbers represents the letters in the quadratic formula. All right. So what number is represented by A?
2,
2. All right. What about B?
3,
Well, -3, but I'll take it. And what
negative
about
5.
-5? That's it. All right. So now that we got our numbers, we're just gonna throw those bad boys into this quadratic equation here. That's what we're gonna do. All right. And for those who are watching the playback and you're wondering why is she humming and doing music, music really just does something to my spirit. I'm a musical person and I love music. My students are very used to that. All right. So I have -3 squared. Okay, and that's going to be minus 4AC. Okay. And oh, see, I'm used to putting 1 right there. All right, so my answer is going to be times 2. All right. All right. So as always, you want to make sure that you put the numbers in the correct spot where they go. Otherwise, you will yield a wrong answer. All right. Now, when I do this, I want you to tell me um, 2 negatives give me a positive. So -3 turns into what?
Positive 3.
+3. All right. And then what is -3 times -3?
Positive 9.
Okay. Excellent. Now I have a -4. Remember, the number takes the sign. So I have a -4 multiplied by a -5.
Positive 20.
And what's 20 doubled?
40.
40.
40. All right. And then all of that is going to be over 2 times 2, which gives me 4. All right. What is 40 plus 9?
49.
49. All right. All right. Now, the question the question I have is what is the square root of 49?
7.
7 and so I have a +7 and Okay, so remember, when you take the square root of a number, you will have a positive answer and a negative answer. Okay, so that's going to be very important that you remember that. Okay, so when I finish all of that, that is going to give me 10 over 4 or 5 halves. Now remember, you do not have to turn your improper fraction into a decimal. You don't have to turn it um into a mixed fraction. You don't have to do any of that, okay? Unless the question tells you to. So always be mindful what question is asking you to do, okay? Very important. All right. So now I have 3 minus 7, which is negative 4 over 4, and negative 4 over positive 4 gives me a negative 1. Miss Philomena, did you have a question?
No, it's clear. I
Oh, okay.
I've noticed where I made the mistake, and it's okay.
Oh, okay, okay. All right. Um, so do I have any other questions as it relates to the quadratic formula? Or do you have any other math concepts that you would like to go over for today?
No, ma'am.
Okay. Now, excuse me. Let me also say this very, very, in the most humbling way that I possibly can. We have been out of school. I lost track of the days, but I know it's been over 60 days. We're actually getting ready to go into 90 days, okay? Come June 12th. It is very important again, and I cannot stress enough that you all make sure that you are taking advantage of the resources that are being given to you. Okay. Please make sure that that you are rewatching the videos and taking your notes. And also leaving any comments or contacting me and letting me know, Ms. Hampton, I'm on this particular problem, but I'm stuck. What is it that I'm not doing, or I keep missing a step, whatever the case may be? Excuse me. Because again, if memory serves me correctly, the testing centers may be opening back up in July, if I'm not mistaken, and I'm talking late July. Okay. So again, that gives you about a good month and a half, almost 2 months, to go ahead and practice, practice, practice. Work, 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 work. Like you've never worked on these problems before. Okay. I have also started a new playlist called Fundamentals of Math. Again, the fundamentals of math is the foundational groundwork that you are going to need to make this studying and this journey very successful for yourself. So again, if you need a refresher on integers, if you need a refresher on how to add, subtract, multiply fractions, I will be posting those videos in that particular playlist. Please make sure that you watch those. I'm also doing freebie Friday videos where students are requesting, Ms. Hampton, can you please do a video on this? And because I do these videos on Friday, it's just me. Okay, so these videos are maybe, I try to keep them at 30 minutes if possible. Sometimes it goes a little over, but nonetheless, they're very detailed and you can learn at your own pace. So again, nobody is running this race but you. You are your only competitor. Okay. So you have to take into consideration, you know, your job if you're working, or your family if you're a caregiver, if you're a parent. You have to take into consideration, making sure that those things are taken care of first. And then you have to carve out some time for yourself to say, you know what, Miss Hampton's video is about an hour. So let me go ahead and just dedicate this hour to watching this one particular video to make sure that, I understand this particular concept. Okay, because I guarantee you, when the testing centers open back up, there should be no reason why you all that are in my class and that are watching these videos and all of that good stuff, there's no reason why you cannot sign up for your math test and knock it out the park. There's really no reason why you shouldn't at this particular point. Why? Because you've had nothing but time to study. So again, I just want to encourage you, as I always do, please use your time wisely. Take advantage of the resources. I have left other videos that you can watch that may be helpful to you. I also have a GED playlist with all four subjects: science, social studies, English, and math. And these are just random videos that I picked from YouTube. So please, 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 please take advantage of all of the resources that are given to you. I cannot stress that enough because, again, when these testing centers open up, everybody should be signing up for the test, getting your monies together, doing all of that, and y'all should be able to knock this thing out the park in one big wad. Seriously. Because I know you can do it. I believe you can do it, and I know you can. Okay, but you got to know within yourself. And that's my sermon for today. You are more than welcome to leave a love offering in the basket. Here's my basket right here. But for real, take what I'm saying to you in love, and I pray that you're receiving what it is that I'm saying to you all. Because you can do it. You can. I promise you can. Okay? So, are there any other questions? Any other comments, concerns?
Miss Auntie,
Yes, Miss Philomena.
can we look at cloves and grass?
I'm sorry.
Cloves and grass intercepts. Graphing of slopes.
Okay, you said something about graphs.
Graphing slopes intercepts.
You said slope.
Yes. And graphing.
Okay, and this is remember, this is also a friendly reminder as well. Anytime we do have a potluck, please make sure that you send me your request in advance. So that way I can already have it prepared and I don't have to look and be like, oh my God, I don't know what I did with my ah. I really want to make sure that I have everything prepared for you all.
Okay. I'm sorry.
No, ma'am, you're okay. What is it about graphing?
I
Um,
don't know how to really connect in the graphing. That's it.
okay. So I want to make sure that I heard you clearly. You said you're having a hard time with connecting. Um,
Graphing.
okay, so you need the slope and the Y-intercept. Is that what you're referring to?
Yes, please.
Okay. Bloop, bloop, bloop. Mhm. Let me see. I'm pretty sure I have. I don't know where it is though. I'm pretty sure it's in here. Let's see. Okay. All right. Okay, so Miss Philomena, this is what I'm going to have to do because again, um I'm pretty sure I do have all of the information on slope. As a matter of fact, I know I have the information on slope. So let me just go ahead and find it very, very quickly, and I can just reuse a lesson that I've already done. Okay, here we go. Here we go right here. Look at God. Won't he do it? All right. All right. So, okay. So just in the event, I do have a video on slope, but this is potluck. So this is just going to be a quick refresh. Okay. All right. So again, I'm going to make this bigger so that way we can see it because I can't see it. Okay. All right. So on your math GED exam, all right. So on your math GED exam, they may give you a graph such as this, and they may tell you write the equation of the line. They may the more than likely they will tell you that, or they may give you multiple choice and say which one of these equations match this graph. So there's different formats and how they're going to do it. These are the two things that you need to know. The first thing you need to know is what kind of slope you're working with. So based on the answer right here, we are working with a positive slope. So we know it's a positive slope because it is going upward. Remember, the further right that you go, when you're starting from your left to your right, the further left you go, the more the line increases. Okay. So because it's doing that, we know that it's a positive slope. Now, with that being said, I'm going to go ahead and, well, we already wrote it's a positive slope. The next thing we have to look at is our y-intercept. Remember, your y-intercept is where the line crosses at the y-axis. Okay. Ooh, I should have probably typed that. All right, but anyway. All right. So my y-intercept is going to be here, and it is going to be at 0, 1. So my y-intercept, I'm sorry, -1, excuse me, because it's down. Okay, so I start at 0, and then I go down 1. So my y-intercept is -1. Now I know I have a positive slope. However, I don't know what that number is. So I can do this one or two ways. I can literally either find the coordinates of these two, and then use the slope formula, y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Or I can simply just do rise over run, which I'm going to start here. And I'm going to count 1, 2, 3. So I'm going up 3. And then I'm going to go over to my right 1. So when I do that, my slope is going to be 3. So the equation of this line, and remember, it takes on the form of y equals mx plus b. I have my slope. So my slope is going to be 3x, and my y-intercept is going to be -1. So this would be the equation of my line for this particular graph. Yeah, there we go. All right, there we go. So I went up 1, 2, 3 over 1. And I can continue to go on, then that will let me know that I do have my slope is 3 of 1, 2, 3 over 1, 1, 2, 3 over 1, and so forth. Because remember, lines go on for forever. Okay. So Miss Philomena, did I answer your question?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Wonderful, wonderful. Okay. Is there any other concepts? I have 5 minutes. Literally 5. Yes, no, I think so, Miss Hampton. I guess this is it. Tell me something. Ooh, excuse me.
No, man.
All right. So this is what I'm going to do. Once I upload this video, I am going to leave some extra resources that you all can work on. They're going to be worksheets, and I'm going to leave those in the pinned comment section of my videos. Again, the PDF files, you can download them. If you have access to a printer, you can print them. And that way you can have something, a hard copy. Okay. If there is a particular worksheet that you want me to email, I will do that, no problem. Excuse me. So Mr. McFadden, would you like for me to email you another worksheet on the quadratic formula?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Miss Philomena, would you like for me to email you a sheet on finding the line of finding the linear equation of a graph.
Yes, mom.
Okay, well, I will be sure to do that for you all immediately following this presentation. All right, so again, and you all can go ahead and put yourselves back on mute because we're going to wrap this up and put a pretty little bow on it. Again, I cannot thank you both so much for your consistency and coming to class. It really means a lot to me and is not in vain and is not going unnoticed. Um, Second thing is, again, I just want to encourage you all, please continue to study. Please continue to take good notes. Use the resources that are available to you all out there. Um, because again, maybe sometimes my delivery may not be the best and you can pick up something that I've said and somebody else could say the same thing, but maybe you can, receive it in a different way. And I've, and it happens. It really does. So again, I just encourage you all, please take advantage of all the resources that are given to you. Um, please make sure that, you all, watch the playback videos, make sure that have, if you have questions for a potluck, write those down. If you have any, thing that you want to go over, um, you know, let me know in advance so that way I can have worksheets prepared and, additional resources for you as well, because your time is valuable to me and I totally respect, your time. All right. So again, I really appreciate you all so much. I will go ahead and send out those worksheets to you all individually. Just give me about 15, 20 minutes, and I will have those for you all. And again, I just appreciate you all. I really do. I can't express it enough, and I can't express it enough. So, with all that being said, to anybody that's watching this playback video, please leave a comment in the comment section. Let me know how I'm doing. Let me know what I need to improve on. I am not above reproach. My goal, as always, is to make sure that I give you all the best quality content educationally as I possibly can. That's my whole purpose, and that's the whole point of all of this. All right. So, y'all continue to be safe. Y'all continue to be blessed. Make sure that you all are still adhering to the rules if you're going outside dealing with Auntie Rona and Uncle Virus. Um, and yeah, we're just going to make it through as we always do. So until Monday, have a wonderful and blessed weekend. And y'all be safe. Miss Hampton loves you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Thank you, Miss Hampton. God
You're
bless you.
very welcome. Bye. Bloop, bloop.